I suppose you could be forgiven for thinking that this is nothing more than a large and luxuriant greenhouse, but if you look more carefully, you'll see it's much more interesting than that. This is Jurassica, and even more surprisingly, Jurassica is part of the Huddersfield Technical College, and people come here to learn a lot about very interesting animals, like these. Reptiles like this iguana have become increasingly popular as pets in recent years. Sadly, many of them are doomed to die because of their owners' ignorance. To remedy this, Roger Meek and his colleagues have started an exotic animal course. You know my dandelion before they scratch me. Oh, that's very good. So they're keen vegetation, eh? They're purely vegetarian?
More or less. They do take occasional insects.
Well, now that I know they're vegetarians, what actually are they?
They're actually Egyptian spiny-tailed lizards.
Right.
They come from the harshest deserts in the world. So when they get a chance of some green material, they take it. And as you can see, flowers are a favourite as well.
Any danger of overeating?
Not really.
No.
Not really, because their food availability is only infrequently anyway. So what they do is they make the most of it when it's available.
And did these come from Heathrow as well? Is it legal imports?
They were on their way to the United States. They were captured in Egypt, and they were on their way to the United States. The plane stopped off at Heathrow for fuel. And when the Customs and Excise at Heathrow went aboard, there was no appropriate paperwork with these. And these are actually an Appendix 2 animal, which means they're protected under law, international law.
So, Roger, where do you stop this illegal pet trade? Do you try and stop the supply, or do you try and stop the demand?
Well, I think you have to stop the demand. The pet trade in the United States is absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
The money would be made in the United States. The Arabs who would collect this would only get a few pennies for each individual animal, so that there's no great profit in it for the Arabs.
So you can't really blame them, are you? They're just trying to make a living to fill their belly.
That's right. But once they've been collected from the desert habitat, you know, because the desert environment is so specific on survival, then they've actually been lost to the environment. In other words, you know, the natural population's been damaged.
That's good. You get back in there, enjoy your food. Right, Roger, let's see what else you've got.
Yeah.
I'll catch the door. Interesting place here.
Absolutely.
Spend a long time with you telling me all about these places. Now, Roger, here, exciting exhibit. Definitely not herpetological. A pile of bricks.
No, it's a cogno snake.
Get it, I'll take a look at snake. I like snakes. Obviously, it must have a hog nose.
It does indeed.
Is that like a pig?
Yeah, it's because it digs in the ground for toads. It's a specialised toad eater.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
That's right.
Can I have a wee go?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not venomous, is it?
It's partially venomous. It's what we call a rear fang snake, but it'll not bite you, I promise.
So if it did bite me, I wouldn't die?
No, you'd perhaps feel discomfort for a while.
You're very reassuring, Roger. That's what I like about you. Now listen, I've got this kind of palish tail. What's that all about?
Most biologists think it's actually a imitation rattlesnake. You know, the rattle on the rattlesnake.
So it's a defence mechanism?
It's a defence mechanism. You can see how the discoloration begins just at the point where a rattle would begin on a rattlesnake. And the other thing they do, of course, is they actually rub this against or vibrate it against dry leaves, and hence you get this noise.
Oh, right.
So it does, in fact, make a sound similar to a rattlesnake's rattle.
What about this cute little hog nose? What's that all about?
Well, the main diet in the wild is toads, and that's for digging toads out of the ground. They burrow down to dig toads up. And the long teeth that they have, the specialised venom teeth, are to actually penetrate the skin of the toad.
Specialised venom teeth. You
Yeah.
keep coming back to that, Roger. Do you mind if I put it down now?
No, it's fine,
Okay.
yeah. Most of them don't bite, John.
Well, that's when they're definitely not going to get the chance to bite. While we're on the subject of keeping reptiles, Roger, I mean, it's become, as a vet, I see more and more of them now.
Yeah.
Why do you think people want to go in for exotics like snakes and lizards?
Lots of people are just interested in them because they're different. Other people use them as personality enhancers. I think, you know, the big snakes, giant lizards and so forth, even venomous snakes. Some people keep venomous snakes.
That's a bit daft, isn't it?
I would say it's irresponsible, not just to the owner of the animal, but your next door neighbour, who, you know, if the snake escaped, then you could be serious damage to your neighbours. So I do think there is a requirement for correct legislation on it.
Students on the courses, which can lead to a whole variety of qualifications, take part in all sorts of scientific research into reptile physiology.
29.4.
After graduating, they will hopefully help to spread the gospel of responsible animal care in whatever job they take up in the future. What do you hope to do when you do get your diploma?
I'd like to go into research of some description.
Associated with animals, obviously.
Yes.
And have you found the course here to be quite illuminating so far?
It's been superb.
Is it?
Yeah, absolutely superb.
Have you got a similar bent, or have you got something else you want to do?
I am interested in research, but I'm also particularly interested in animal welfare. But having said that, I'm enjoying what I'm doing so much, I wouldn't mind being a lifelong student.
So you might
if
go...
I can afford it.